Welcome back to Deep Dive. We're continuing our journey through the Golden Path strategy for financial independence, and this is our fifth conversation together.
That's right. And for anyone who's been with us from the start, we've already laid some really powerful foundations. We began with the internal work.
The identity shift, right, from being a passive consumer to an active asset owner, and then defining that FI vision.
Exactly. That was all stage one. And now we are well into stage two, which is all about building resilience.
Creating that structural stability. We've done the mapping, we've started conscious budgeting, and last time we talked about that critical step of stabilizing cash flow, stopping the financial bleeding.
We close the gaps. The foundation is set, the budget is aligned. And that brings us, logically, to the next structural component. And honestly, this might be the most important habit in the entire journey.
Which is step 6, building the saving muscle.
Building the saving muscle. And the sources we looked at are really clear on this point.
Yeah, they make this counterintuitive claim stating that saving is not the result of having a high income. It's a learned behavior, a muscle.
It's a muscle that you have to train and prioritize, and it has almost nothing to do with the size of your paycheck. Our goal today is to really establish that saving capacity before we can even begin to talk about growth or investing.
Okay, so let's jump right into the paradox that the sources always highlight. How is it possible that people we'd assume are financially set, high-earning doctors, lawyers, often fail to build any real savings, while at the same time we see people with pretty modest incomes who somehow manage to build up serious capital?
This is the observation that completely dismantles the myth that more income is the solution.
Yeah.
I mean, if personal finance were just a math equation, the person with the biggest salary would always win. But it's not.
But it's behavioral, you're saying.
It's behavioral physics. Think about it.
Yeah.
Take a successful professional. Maybe they're bringing home 5 figures every month.
Right.
But with that income comes a certain pressure, a lifestyle expectation. So they get the expensive car lease, the huge mortgage, the luxury vacations become, almost mandatory.
Every raise just gets absorbed by a bigger expense.
It's matched or even exceeded by an increase in their fixed costs. They never, ever train the muscle of living below their means. In fact, their saving muscle has completely atrophied. It's gone.
So the high income just gives them more rope to tie themselves up with, financially speaking.
Precisely. Now, contrast that with someone on a more modest income. Because they have to be conscious of their spending, they're forced to allocate a small percentage consistently.
They don't have the option to just inflate their lifestyle.
Exactly. And that simple act of setting aside a little bit of money every single month, that's the workout, that's the training. They're exercising the muscle, so their capacity to save actually grows. The real limiting factor isn't the income, it's the behavior.
That makes so much sense. Saving is a skill that just wastes away if you don't use it. So if it is a skill, what's the biggest mistake, the biggest trap people fall into when they try to start?
Oh, it's an almost universal failure pattern. It's rooted in hope. And hope is a terrible strategy. The mistake is waiting until the end of the month to see if there's any surplus cash left over to save.
But that sounds so logical on the surface. You pay your bills, you live your life, and then whatever is left, you save. Why does that fail so consistently?
Because without an established habit, that surplus money never actually materializes. It follows a very predictable human pattern.
It just gets swallowed up.
It gets swallowed. We call it lifestyle creep. The expenses just seem to expand to fill whatever income is available. Yeah. You buy slightly nicer coffee, you add another streaming service, you grab takeout one extra time.
These aren't huge, catastrophic purchases.
No, not at all. They aren't moral failures. They're just tiny micro decisions. And they're driven by the simple fact that the money is sitting there, unallocated, just begging to be spent.
So we need to shift from that reactive, hoping there's something left, to proactive control.
You have to command the capital. You can't just react to its whims.
Okay, let's unpack this then. If saving isn't the result of having money, what's the core mindset shift we need to make?
It's moving from viewing saving as a financial state to viewing it as a habit.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for some magical future moment when you have enough money to start saving.
You're creating the habit that guarantees you'll have enough later.
That's it. And there's a specific mantra we use for this step.
Let's hear it.
You don't save because you have money. You have money because you save.
Wow. Okay, that really does flip the entire script. It basically reframes saving as a non-negotiable expense, like rent.
It's the most important bill you pay each month. This is where we have to connect back to the asset owner identity we talked about in stage 1.
Okay, so how does an asset owner think about their paycheck differently?
The default survivor mindset says, my salary pays for my life this month. Full stop. The asset owner says, my salary is raw capital, and my job is to deploy it immediately to purchase my future freedom. An asset owner sees saving not as losing money today, but as buying assets for tomorrow.
So you're paying your future self first. It's a debt you owe to your future.
It is the first bill you pay, and by making it the first mandatory allocation, you force the rest of your budget to adapt to what's left.
You're starving that lifestyle creep monster before it even gets a chance to feed.
And that forced contraction, that's the workout. That's how you train the muscle.
Okay, let's talk about the big but that I know is on a lot of people's minds. If the goal is financial independence through investing, stage 3, why bother with this saving step first? Why not just jump straight into investing?
That is the crucial question. It's the efficiency argument people use to try and skip the hard work. They'll say, why should I bother saving $100 in an account earning nothing when I could be getting 8% in the market?
Exactly. Why not wait for a big bonus and put it all in stocks instead of saving $50 a month now?
Because the sources are absolutely crystal clear on this. And the statement is, whoever does not save will not invest.
That sounds pretty final.
It is, because saving and investing require the exact same core behavioral muscle, the muscle of consistent, unemotional allocation of capital.
So saving is just practice for investing.
It's more than practice, it's the prerequisite. Saving is just deploying capital to a cash asset. Investing is deploying it to a growth asset. If you can't build the discipline to automatically set aside a small amount of money for savings,
then you'll never have the discipline to consistently put money into the stock market, especially when it's volatile.
never. Because when the market inevitably drops, and it will, the person who hasn't built that consistency muscle will panic. They see it through an emotional lens.
And they'll sell at the bottom, locking in their losses.
While the person who has trained the saving muscle, who is used to regular, non-negotiable allocation, sees a market dip as a buying opportunity. They're focused on the long-term plan, not the daily noise.
So building the saving muscle is really about building emotional resilience for your financial life. It's not just about the cash.
It is the foundation for consistency. The mandate is simple. You have to start saving now, today, regardless of the amount. The priority isn't the number, it's training the muscle. That control is what financial independence is built on.
So to summarize, the ability to save consistently is the structural precursor to FI. It's the proof that you, the asset owner, are in control.
It's proof that you have the discipline required for the journey ahead.
Which brings us to the immediate call to action for you, the listener. It's not complicated. It's not about analyzing funds. It's about defining an amount, no matter how small, and setting up an automatic monthly saving order today.
Automation is everything here. It enforces the habit. It takes willpower and emotion completely out of the equation. If the money never even hits your main checking account.
Lifestyle creep can't touch it.
Exactly.
And this continues our work in stage 2, resilience. By building this habit, you're solidifying that internal structure. Next time, we move to step 7, establishing your emergency fund and liquidity network.
That's the financial firewall. The safety net that ensures when life happens, you're protected and you don't have to sell the assets you're just starting to build.
So as you go to set up that automatic order today, just take a moment to think about the money you're allocating. Is it $1 you're losing from this month's budget, which is the survivor mindset?
Or is it something else?
Or is it a unit of future freedom you are actively acquiring and deploying? That's the asset owner mindset. And making that mental shift is the real victory of step 6.
Commit to the habit today, and you're committing to your future.
We invite you to continue the journey with us.